You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. You know who this is. It has been a long time.
It's been 84 years.
I know. But as you all know, or at least especially those who are on the live streams, COVID hit. Pretty much been playing substitute teacher up until this week, where my kids happily finally went back to school, which means I can get back to doing videos again. And I have decided that we're going to start off catching up with The Mandalorian. Now, I have been watching it on a regular basis, of course, since last season. And I wanted to at least do my review for the first 2 episodes of this video, obviously being episode 1, and then follow along as we go every Friday when the next episode comes out to the end of the season. Plus, we will also be reviewing WandaVision when it comes out, as well as other relevant shows, because that's pretty much where we're going to be at now, right? We don't know what's going on with the movies. We don't know when theaters are going to be opening up. You know, they opened up briefly, then they closed again. So movie reviews will come in as, I guess, as they do. We got Tenet coming out in December, so I'll do a review for that because I haven't seen it, but I really do want to see it. And we'll just go forward with as much entertainment as I could possibly find. You know, news, we still get news about things, but it's not as exciting when you don't have stuff in between to kind of keep you going. So we'll try and review some things and do other entertainment related topics as we go. But it's nice to be in front of the camera again. It's nice to be back. And it's great to be doing content. It's kind of like starting all over again. Hopefully, we can keep going consistently going forward. We'll see what happens. So we're going to have 2 videos today. Both are going to be from The Mandalorian, reviews for the first 2 episodes. And then on Rob Talks, for those of you who are interested, I will be doing a long podcast recording that I will be uploading on that channel later tonight regarding everything going on with the election and things like that. But The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, which is Chapter 9, called The Marshal. And very, very good way to start off the season. Timothy Olyphant is such a great actor. And to see him in this episode, he just fits right in. You know what I mean? He's a really good actor. It was great to see him. And, you know, we know basically the story about this. You guys have all seen it already. This episode's already over a week old. I just want to make sure I keep things in line, so that way when I have a playlist of Mandalorian, at least we get all the episodes for season 2 going forward going. But so we catch up with the Mandalorian, wanting to look for other Mandalorians who can help him find a way to get the kid back to his people. So he finds out that there may be more Mandalorians or another Mandalorian on Tatooine. And he goes there to a town called Mos Pelgo, and he does run into what seems to be a Mandalorian wearing Boba Fett's armor. This was like the first big drop of the episode. Now, interesting enough, you know, I remember in season 1, there was that brief moment, and a lot of people screen captured it, of what looked like to be someone in the background either wearing Boba Fett's armor or something that looked a lot like it. So I'm assuming at this point, now that we know that the armor is with this character, I'm assuming that that was just a Mandalorian in the background wearing armor that looked very similar to Boba Fett. So he comes there and he finds out that after the Empire went down, obviously there were a lot of people, or a lot of rogues out there that decided to try and take over certain towns and places because they didn't have to worry about the Empire anymore. So they were out there doing their own malicious things. And, you know, the Marshal, whose name I have it here, Cobb Vanth, was pretty much chased out of the town, and he barely survived. He was rescued by some Jawas, and he had some gems on him, some mining gems that the Jawas really wanted, and he traded it in exchange for Boba Fett's armor, in which he used to go back to the town and free the town of the miners, the mining companies. So, and then from that point forward, he's kept the town safe, off the grid for the most part, and now here comes Mandalorian trying to go in there and, well, thought he was going to find a Mandalorian, found armor, seems to know who the armor belongs to. Does make sense. Mando's probably had run-ins with Boba Fett, so he obviously recognizes the armor to be Mandalorian armor, but there was that subtle pause, staring like, is that really? So that was pretty interesting, wondering if one of these two run into each other, and you've already seen the episode now. Should I give a spoiler warning? Maybe, but if most people have seen this episode already, so I don't have to pretend, like there's this big secret at the end. You all know about it already. So they're just about to have a showdown when there's a big rumble going through the town, and we see that there's this huge sandworm, or what's referred to as the Crate Dragon, which has been causing a lot of problems, not only for the townspeople, but also local Tuscan Raiders. And these Raiders have also had run-ins with the townspeople. So it's like this, the enemy of my enemy becomes my friend, because the Mandalorian, who I had no idea knew how to speak Tuscan, communicates with the Raiders and tries to negotiate a truce so that they can all work together to take down the Crate Dragon, because they would both benefit from it. So he goes, they get together, and let me tell you, the Crate Dragon was a fantastic design, and the scene where he's coming out of the cave and the scale, they really captured the scale, especially when it ate the Raider. And I thought the episode overall was just very fun. It was a good, strong opening for the season. We had some pretty funny moments with Baby Yoda, in particular the very beginning when the Mandalorian is inquiring about finding another one, or finding the people that the kid belongs to. Goes to like this fight pit, and you see, and I forget what their race is called, but the piggish looking entities that are green that were in Jabba's lair in Return of the Jedi. Really cool scene with them fighting, and he's talking to this Cyclops type character who's voiced by John Leguizamo, and then he tries to turn around on him because he wants to get his armor. So you got like 6 or 7 goons all pointing their guns, and it was very funny. Mandalorian loads his little missiles, and then Baby Yoda kind of knows what that means, so he kind of hits the button and then goes bye-bye. So that was very good. But overall, it was a very good episode. Timothy Olyphant was great. I hope we do see him again. I'm assuming we will. And it was really interesting to see the dynamic. I like how you get to learn more about when you look at the Mandalorian. There's certain elements that would, when you look at the Star Wars movies, would be in the background, and now they're brought to the forefront a lot more. Tuscan Raiders is a good example. You always see them in passing throughout the Star Wars movies, but you never actually get to see them for a long period of time like we did here. And this episode kind of really gives you a different vision. They're not just savages. You can communicate with them. They do have their own purposes, and they are just as much trying to survive as anyone else, especially in this particular episode where you have the townspeople trying to survive and deal with this Crate Dragon as well as them. So now you kind of see maybe there's an opportunity for these two groups to live among each other in peace without always fighting, especially after showing that they can work together. Obviously, the Mandalorian playing a huge role in bringing them together. And that's one of the things I love about this show is what used to be in the background, what used to be background noise or in passing in the Star Wars universe is something that's more brought to the forefront here. The Jawas and seeing that, they're scavengers and everything, but they do help. I mean, they rescued this guy. They didn't have to. They didn't know he had the gems until they opened the lid. By then, he was already in the Jawa transport. So, nice things. One thing I thought about when Mandalorian was communicating with the Tuscan Raiders and he was going through their camp, I said to myself, man, wouldn't that be crazy if and then I remembered the timing was obviously off. But for that moment, not remembering where we were in the timeline, I thought to myself, damn, wouldn't it be crazy if you ran into Anakin's mother in one of these tents? But then I remembered, oh, that can't happen because that's already over and done with by a long, long shot. But for that one moment, I was like, oh my God, is that going to happen? And then I remembered, no, that can't happen. So, but those are the kind of things that you can expect with the show, which makes it so good. Now, again, this episode is really good. Special effects were fantastic. The Crate Dragon design was great. The acid spewing was a little bit of a surprise because you didn't see that coming. I didn't think this thing was going to spew acid. When you consider that it's already got this unique way of traversing underneath the earth to go from the sand, and then he pops out in a mountain. He's popping out behind them. And then on top of that, now he spews acid. And of course, you have a very heroic scene with the Mandalorian flying in his mouth and then flying out, and then the explosives going off. So this is very good special effects. There's a very good reason why this show is very popular, and a lot of people consider it the savior for the Star Wars universe, is because it's almost like back to basics. You get a lot of practical effects, very little CGI, unless when they actually need it, in the case of the Krayt Dragon. But, you know, on a smaller scale, it's a lot of practical effects, and that's what makes it look better. It makes it look more real in certain aspects. When you get to the large scale things, and yeah, you do need the CGI, you do need good, you know, computer generated images to sell something that big, if you want to show it in its entire scale. Finally, the big reveal at the ending is, of course, Boba Fett. I think it's pretty obvious. You could see the person playing Boba Fett is the same person who played Jango Fett in the prequel trilogy. Only this time he's scarred. So obviously he got out of the Sarlacc pit without his armor, and we're going to see how that plays out. He obviously knows the Mandalorian's been around. He obviously knows the Mandalorian probably has his armor. I don't know if he could see from that far away, but he did see the Mandalorian. And it's going to be interesting to see because, you know, we have other Mandalorians coming into this show from other universes. Sabine, for those of you who watch Star Wars Rebels, which is actually personally one of my favorite Star Wars animes. I know a lot of people go crazy for, you know, the Clone Wars, but for me personally, I like Star Wars Rebels. It's actually my favorite of the two. And Sabine from that animated series will be on the show at some point. We haven't seen her yet, but I'm pretty sure we will. And then, of course, Ahsoka Tano is going to be on the show as well. So there's a lot of things to look forward to in this season. And it's amazing to me. You know, the first episode was like 45 minutes. And, you know, we're going to do a review on the second episode shortly after this. But I just want to say, second episode kind of cut it down. It was more like 35. I really do hope they stay in that 40-minute range because, you know, you're looking at, 8-10 episodes possibly. And if they're only 30 minutes, I mean, to me, it sounds like they're going to have a lot of content going into this season. A lot of new characters. Plus, you got to remember the older characters. And then, obviously, we're going to revisit. I'm pretty sure we're going to revisit Timothy Oliphant's character. So I'm hoping more of the show's episodes this year are longer than the second episode was. But we'll talk about that more in detail in the next video. But overall, I thought episode 1 was a very, very solid opening. It was a lot of fun, some really funny moments. Seeing another great 2 stars, actually, John Leguizamo and, of course, Timothy Olyphant, and then Pedro Pascal doing his thing. And just great effects, great practical effects. I love the music on the show. That's one of the stronger suits of this show is that nice blend of Western and sci-fi, and it's just really, really good. So it's such a joy to watch the show. So, but that's it for this review. What did you think about the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian? Let me know in the comments below. I know everybody has seen it by now, so I just want to make sure I'm being consistent when I review the show. I didn't want to start off with episode 3. I want to get 1 and 2 in and then get episode 3 in this week. So for those of you who are watching the videos and curious about Godzilla content, we will have Godzilla content coming. I want to talk a little bit about the anime. I did speak about it on a live stream, but for those who don't go to the live streams and who still remain, we're going to do a video about that, as well as what's going on with Godzilla vs. Kong and things of that nature. All those things you guys like, we will be doing it as the days go. And I will also be doing content on my other channel for those of you who like that kind of topic. So, but anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.